Hi, I'm CanCham Director and Head of Communications, Ping Chu. And for the second episode of the CanCham Taiwan podcast, we're talking to Inspire CEO Elias Eck and Musa Trademark CEO and CanCham Director Jessie Chou about the upcoming 6th Annual Dragons Chamber Taiwan. The event is the premier business pitch competition for foreign entrepreneurs on the island, and the CanCham is proud to be one of the founding sponsors and co-organizers. This year's event will take place alongside the Meet Taipei Startup Festival on Saturday, November 20th at 1 p.m. And now, here's my interview with Elias and Jessie. Today I'm talking to Elias Eck and Jessie Chou about Dragons Chamber Taiwan. Elias is from Sweden and has lived in Taiwan since 2000. He is the founder of marketing company Inspire that helps many of the world's largest companies and SMEs reach business customers. He is also the author of the book, How to Start a Business in Taiwan, and has helped thousands of foreigners get their business off the ground. Jessie Chou is the founder and CEO of Musa Trademark, a trademark agent with a decade of experience. She is passionate about educating managers and founders about the importance of trademark protection and helping companies grow steadily and strongly by implementing a customized trademark strategy. Together, they are the two main co-organizers of the pitch event, the Dragons Chamber Taiwan. So first of all, I want to mention that both Elias and Jessie are repeat guests, so I want to start by saying, welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's start with the beginning with Elias. As one of the founding members, can you tell us about what Dragons Chamber is and how did it start?
So Dragons Chamber is a pitch event specifically for foreign entrepreneurs in Taiwan. And it came about because some people of the Canadian Chamber came to me and said, look, we need to find a way to help foreign entrepreneurs get traction, promote their businesses, and hopefully reach investors. So that was 6 years ago. So this year we're doing it for the sixth time. And basically what we want to do is to put foreign entrepreneurs on a stage and promote them so that they can get the resources that they need to grow their companies.
Right. And why did you do it as a pitch event particularly?
Well, so there is a funding gap, right? Mm-hmm. Nearly everybody, when they start a company, they can find a few $100,000, maybe $1 million to get their company off the ground. And if you are, already at the size where you can raise money from, institutional, like venture capital,
right? Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of people you can go and knock on their doors if you are at that stage.
Sure.
But in the middle, let's say you need 5 million, 10 million, 15 million NT. It is very hard for everybody in Taiwan to find that kind of money. And if you are a foreigner that don't have quite as many networks around you, it's even harder. And that's really what we're trying to do. So the pitch event allows, good teams that we vet to get up on a stage and we help them to think about how to introduce themselves. Mm-hmm. We challenge them about their business plan. Have they really thought about how to reach their customers and so on and so on? And they get up on a stage in front of a lot of people that are potential investors, potential partners, potential, customers.
Yeah.
And hopefully that way they will reach more of the resources that they need.
That's amazing. So Jessie, when did you start getting involved with Dragons Chamber and why?
Well, I start as an audience. Elias might invite me to see.
Of course, yeah.
Elias invited me to see the first pitch of the Dragons Chamber. They organized a great event, and I love everything I saw there. And I also agree that we should offer more chance for foreign entrepreneurs to start their own business in Taiwan. So the next year, I became a sponsor. About the same time, I joined CCCT, the Canadian Chambers in Taiwan. CCCT is also one of the event organizers, and start from there, I start working with John from the Canadian Chambers and Elias to organize the event and become an event organizer ever since.
That's really great. And so with groups like Taiwan Impact Entrepreneurs, and a shout out to our good friend Andrew Clerk and his team, and loads of incubators, VCs and co-working spaces around Taiwan are popping up more and more foreign entrepreneurs are getting involved. So how does Dragons Chamber help the teams that participate put their pitch together?
So it's a fairly long process. We start by, of course, taking in an application, where we ask quite a lot of questions. They have to describe their businesses and so on. So then from that, we invite, I think this year we invited 13 teams to come in for an audition.
Okay.
And we listen to their pitch, and then we give them a lot of feedback. We send them home with questions about what they should be working on. And we usually email back and forth a few times, and then we invite people back for a second round of auditions.
Okay.
Where again, we listen to their pitches, we give them feedback and so on. So, and then from that batch, we then pick the final 5 that will go on to the stage. So, we're talking about a 3 or 4 months of really giving them feedback, and we have a lot of different experienced entrepreneurs, investors, and so on that are weighing in and telling them, well, this is good, this is not good, I don't understand this you need to explain more, you need to do. In many cases, they don't have their financials proper, so we have to ask them, well, what does this number mean, and where does this number come from? So the presentation that somebody, if you come to the event in November, the presentation that you see the teams giving there are usually quite different from the one they first come in and do in the beginning of September. So I would say, most teams have, over the years, have told us that this has been very, very helpful, because really too many entrepreneurs are finding this going out and showing your idea to somebody. It's nerve-wracking.
Yes.
Very often we sit at home and we work on this idea and we're like kind of happy with it. But what we really need to do is to go out and show it to people and get more feedback.
Absolutely. I think the pitch process really helps you refine the ideas, right? And then makes it so that you can, when you actually pitch in front of an audience, you see what people actually respond to, right? Yeah,
exactly. And the fact that they are getting very, very honest feedback from our judges and the committee. We are not their friends,
right? Of course.
We and that's, I think, is very important too, that we try to be as honest and direct as possible.
Yeah. So can you two tell me a little bit about the teams that are competing this year, and why did you choose these teams? So we'll start with Jessie, I would say.
Okay, I want to introduce one of the team that called 5 Path Immigrations.
Okay.
The founder is Cassandra Banner, is a Canadian who is one of the only 3 licensed consultants who can legally help people to immigrate to Canada.
Wow, that sounds like a very helpful service.
Yes. And despite of COVID, her startup agency, 5 Path Immigration, did well in 2020 and 2021. And now she's looking for an investor who can invest 2 million NT that she will manually use for marketing in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and China. Every year, more than 1,000 Taiwanese immigrate to Canada.
Yeah,
and Canada is actually looking for more.
Wow.
Yes.
Unlike America these days.
Yes, so much more open-ended. So 5 Paths may not aim to become a unicorn, but they have the potentials to become a good, solid...
Like a solid, profitable business, right?
Yes. So a good investment with the right people.
Right.
And I think this is also something that sets Dragon's Chamber apart.
Right.
Where a lot of the other accelerators and so on are very, very tech-oriented.
Yes, very much
right?
so. Yeah.
At Dragon's Chamber, we're really looking for teams that can build sustainable, good businesses of any size, right? There is nothing wrong with setting up a company that will employ 5 people, 10 people, 15 people, right? Not everybody has to aim to be a unicorn. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But let's look at somebody who potentially could become a unicorn, right?
Okay, yeah.
There's a company called Stride.
Okay,
So they have developed a 4-in-1 home exercise machine.
Okay, yeah.
So are you familiar with a company called Peloton?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Right.
They're huge these days, but I heard they're having like a lot of like supply chain issues at the moment. But
Right.
yeah, they were huge during the pandemic.
Right, but supply chain means that their demand outstrips their supply, right? To some extent. So Stride kind of benchmarking themselves a little bit on Peloton, where they have built this machine that allows you to it's like a what do you call it? The elliptical,
Yeah,
running,
it's an
walking.
elliptical. Yeah, it's like,
And it has the bike, it has a row, and it has some weightlifting.
Wow.
Capabilities in there.
All built in one machine.
All in one machine that folds together quite nicely.
Wow.
And it's all connected to the internet. So if you're working out maybe with a trainer that is remote, they can see exactly what you're doing, right? So Stride is totally taking aim at what Peloton has been doing. Okay, connected exercise.
Right.
Right. So this is a plan of course, selling the machine, but then also selling the connections.
Right.
Right. To classes, content, training information, personal classes and stuff like that.
Right.
So Stride has spent the last 2 years developing this thing. And one of the interesting things with them is that they have been able to work together with the Taiwan government organization called E3.
Yeah.
So they have done a lot of the development, like the firmware and all of that stuff for Stride, which I find to be very interesting. And they are now applying for R&D grants from the government. So, here you have, a foreigner, an American who came to Taiwan, is taking full advantage of all of the hardware developments that Taiwan is famous for.
Yes.
Right. And they are now looking to raise, like say, 10 or 15 million Taiwan dollars to try, to use that for their market entry.
Right.
Right. Now, so here's a company that, has the potential, if he can follow in Peloton's footsteps, to become a huge company. Right.
Right. Exactly. So what are some of the other teams involved? I heard there's a total of 5 for this that made the final cut, right?
Yeah. Every year we pick 5. So one of the other impressive teams that we have is 3 Square. I think a lot of people in the foreign community has heard about them because they have been very, very active in their PR. So they are a cloud kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Right. So over the last few years, we've seen a lot of, the Uber Eats, the Food Panda, all of the food deliveries. Right.
Yeah.
Now, cloud kitchen have two types of businesses.
Okay.
The first one is that they have virtual brands.
Yeah.
Right. So you order food from their restaurant brands, but there's nowhere you could go and actually sit down and eat. Right.
Yeah.
And they are starting these cloud kitchens as virtual kitchens here and there. And then they are also renting out kitchens. So if you wanted to start your own delivery food brand, you could actually rent like a business center. You can rent a kitchen from them. So you have to do the cooking yourself. Right? But they manage everything else.
Yeah, that's
supply
right.
chain, safety, all of that. Right?
Yeah, it's a huge deal in America. I think it's also referred to as ghost kitchens or something like that.
Exactly. So 3 Square have already raised quite a lot of money, and now they are looking to raise another, I think, $1.5 million to continue to grow. Now, the delivery market in the world is worth something like $200 billion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Victor is an American, and he really wants to take his part. So, I mean, this is another potential unicorn, right?
Right.
And then we have somebody who is for sure no stranger to the foreign community. Paulo.
Oh, yeah, Paulo. Yes. Hi. Hey, Paulo.
Hello. So, we all know Paulo because he wrote a book that, helps foreign entrepreneurs. And he also has a popular YouTube channel and a podcast and all of that stuff. And now he's trying to build a new business model where he's taking the content off of his book, putting it on a website, and trying to make it very simple for foreign entrepreneurs by paying a small monthly fee to be able to get all the information they need.
Yeah.
And then also via the same system to connect with the service providers that they need, right? So to really try to make it as as smooth as possible,
Right.
to get your company here in Taiwan. set
Really
up.
remove a lot of the pain points is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And after he has figured this out in Taiwan, he wants to go to other countries.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because there's going to be foreigners struggling in every country in
Yeah.
the world, basically, right? So he's now raising money also.
Yeah.
So that he can, spend more money on marketing and develop the content
Yeah,
and
of
all
course.
of that stuff. So we hope obviously that somebody will come in and say, yeah, we want to invest in that. And then I think last but not least, we have a company called Manga X.
Okay, yeah.
Manga X are trying to solve the problem of mental health among children.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Did you know that something like 18% of children in the US have tried or thought about killing themselves?
Yeah, I'm not actually that surprised. There's a big issue with, I grew up in the States, of course, but like bullying was a big issue. And especially now with online and social media, it's going to become even more of a major issue. Plus, just growing up is very tough, right?
Right. But for me, it's still 18% sounds like,
Shockingly high,
I
right?
definitely saw bullying and so on when I was a child too. But if you had told me, that huge number of children are actually thinking about freaking ending their lives.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, with social media and how, now the bullies can reach into your home and
Yeah.
kind of reach you there.
Right.
So what Manga X is realizing is that even in the richest countries in the world, the number of counselors per student is,
Shockingly low.
shockingly low.
Yeah,
right.
shockingly low.
And I know it from myself when I from being in school in Sweden. Those kind of people, the counselors and so on, when budget cut comes, they were always the first to go.
Yeah.
So what Manga X has developed is a AI-driven journaling system.
Okay, yeah.
Where they sell a service to the school, and the school then asks the teachers to work with the students and ask the students to kind of journal about the issues that they are facing, whether
Sure.
it's in school or at home. And then the system is serving up custom-made comic books that is kind of talking about and helping the kid to deal with these issues that they are seeing.
Yeah.
Right? So for a fraction of the cost of a counselor, of a human being, helping out, hopefully this system will be able to help the kids to deal with things, and it also shows the teacher, who is at risk, who do they need to spend more efforts on, who do they maybe need to connect in other resources with.
Right.
So Manga X have. For the last 5 months, they have had 750 teachers and 8,000 students here in Taiwan testing out their
Wow.
system. And initial results shows that it's very much appreciated.
Wow.
So the next step now is that they need to raise like 6 million Taiwan dollars.
Okay.
And they're going to use that for starting to sell to schools here in Taiwan to
Wow.
actually start signing people up.
Okay.
So, to me, this sounds like the kind of company where, yes, you're investing to earn money, but you have a chance to actually do some good with your money as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So next, can you tell me a bit about the judges and sponsors for this year?
Yeah, so we kind of have a group of companies every year that is, really helping us out. And first and foremost, we need to shout out to Meet Taipei.
Yeah.
That is organizing the Startup Festival every year.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
And they are giving us the space to have our finals event. So
That's fantastic,
Go Meet Taipei.
Okay. So every year, like I think all the sponsor has been sponsored this event for years. So we would like to thanks to Executive Center. They offer their beautiful office space in 101 with amazing view. And ISRT that generously have us on theirs.
Yeah. Are they going to do broadcast live from the show this year?
Not from the show, but they always invite us in so that we can come and promote the event and make sure that the community knows about it.
Right. So you're pitching the pitch event, essentially.
Yes.
And Future World, I think everyone in
good old Future
everyone
World.
in the startup community know that place, right?
Yep.
So they they very generously give us hot decks for
nice, yeah.
our winners every year. So
Yeah.
we are much appreciated for that. And we have Grant Sultans, who is the CPA firm that generally provide their consulting service. Like financials.
Yeah,
Knowledge
absolutely.
is very important when you start a business.
Yes.
And then we have Musa Trademark, my company, that we provide trademark consulting and discounted trademark application fees to help them to register their trademark.
Yes, absolutely. That's going to be very, very useful. And what about the judges?
Well, so Antimony Ventures, is a consulting company here, and their boss, Revital, has been a dragon all these years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she's our chief judge. She's
Wow,
the one
okay.
who makes sure that we are staying on time and all of that stuff. We have not decided on all the judges this year. But one other person that I can talk about is a Swedish professor who teaches here in Taiwan, and he has made a lot of startup investments of his own. So he is very, very experienced in that. And actually, he has already expressed interest in investing in one of our finalists.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we're looking forward to see how that's turning out. But every year, we usually have 4 or 5 dragons,
right.
And they are experienced entrepreneurs and investors that can give really good feedback or help the teams to connect with other resources.
Right. So it's clearly too late to apply this year's, but if an enterprising entrepreneur is interested in entering for next year, what are the criteria to apply and what should they expect applications to go up?
So we usually release our application in end of July or August every year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit later this year because of Corona. We didn't know if we were going to be able to have the event, right? But so the criteria really is we're looking for teams that have at least one foreign co-founder.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. We are partial to companies that wants to raise smaller amounts of money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. Like we can see, some of these companies wants to raise some bigger amounts, but partially, we're partial to the smaller companies, right?
It
That are
seems
just
like
starting out.
10 million and under seems to be very much the range, right?
Yeah. And then, of course, we're looking for companies that have they don't necessarily need to be up and running. I mean, many of these companies are pre-revenue.
Of course, yeah.
But they need to have something.
Yes.
Because the competition, we're getting so many applications now.
Yeah.
That we're looking for companies that we believe can really build a sustainable business, that they are worthy of taking in other people's time and money, and that they will be able to use those resources to really build a sustainable business.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So if our listeners want to attend this year's finals, when and where will they be held, and where can they go for more information?
This year's final, you will see our final teams and announce our top winners. It will take place in the afternoon of November 20th, 2021.
Okay.
And it will be in Mid-Taipei Startup Festival as for the past 5 years. Everyone should come to the Mid-Taipei in that morning and to see what Taiwan's startup community has to offer. And in the afternoon, join our page to see our final 5.
Okay.
So there are... First of all, to attend Meet Taipei, they need to register.
Got it, yeah.
It's free.
Okay.
But just go to meettaipei.tw and register there. Mm-hmm. And for more information about our event, of course, they can either seek us out on Facebook, search for Dragon's Chamber. Or, of course, they can go to dragonschambertaiwan.com, our website, to find more information there, too.
Okay, great. Well, thanks a lot for your time, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the second episode of the CanCham Taiwan podcast. Once again, if you'd like to attend the Dragon's Chamber Taiwan main event, it will be held on November 20th at 1 p.m. Admission to the Meet Taiwan Startup Festival is free, but you'll need to pre-register to attend, which you can do by finding Dragons Chamber Taiwan on Facebook or on their website at www.dragonschambertaiwan.com, all one word, or by simply Googling Dragons Chamber Taiwan. We hope to see you there.